Today we are looking at the markets that are a little all over the shop, actually. Big selling coming through. A lot of the risk off sentiment uh, can be put down to a lot of the yen cross selling. I think the systems and the computers are going a little excited about how quickly dollar yen and euro yen, Aussie yen, pound yen are getting sold off, potentially thinking that there's something larger happening. Sometimes it doesn't need to be much more than movement to get the market to move. Uh, I'm looking here at the pro real-time charts, um, but we are trading at a lot of different brokers at the moment. And this is a FTMO challenge. I think we have to get to 2010 on this particular one. So we're grinding away on a few challenges. We've got $1 million account as well that we're trading. Um, and we are the team behind the Trader Flow community, which is an online community of traders that are trying to bring a little bit of transparency and trustworthiness into the market. Every time you trade with us, you get your trades put on the blockchain and dynamic NFT updates with your trading score, and you can see how good you're going. We also have a large competition running right now, monthly and yearly, for World Trading Championships, and you can join that with your current MT4, MT5 account, and there's nothing there, no costs or anything. We want to see if there's any good traders out there that we can help fund, and if you're not good, you can hang out with those traders who have traded for a long time. I've been in this game for about 20 years, and it is pretty lonely trading by yourself. So I'm currently streaming for the first time on X. I've not really done that before. See how that goes today. Just having a look at this sell-off and seeing if there's any opportunity to buy. I mean, the most risk-sensitive pair is probably the Aussie and the Kiwi. And so although the Aussie and the Kiwi are falling pretty heavily, it's whether there's going to be a second bounce down here on euro yen, dollar yen. And the same thing with the euro. So the gold, this is a second sell-off, right? Second leg lower. So it's a little bit safer. If you're trading generally in a market that has a big crash, you want to wait for the second attempt. And especially when there's a little bit of divergence, right? So what I mean by divergence here is that we're seeing a little bounce in the stock markets and a little bounce in the dollar yen, and yet no little bounce in gold. And generally, you'll see everything come back together. So Aussie on the 15, little bounce on the euro, little bounce on the pound. So the question you ask yourself is, well, how do you play this? I mean, well, there's pairs that may get a little bit of support. DAX is one that comes to mind. Yeah. German. Okay. Because we do have the ECB coming up. It's a nice little candle. Missed it by a few points, though. We should have been on that a little while ago. And we're in the middle of the European session, right? So we still have a couple of hours before the US session come in. Hard to know what they're going to do. Gold is precarious, I think. Gold is, more stops are building up underneath. And we've got to be a little careful about that. I think if I was going to buy today, I'd buy, 23.10. It can move a little bit further than people expect, regardless of what's happening in the rest of the market. Euro, yen is a combination of both. I think euro might be a little weak if, well, it's just hard to buy it ahead of a rate cut, right? I mean, it could be stronger after the rate cut, especially if they come out with a hawkish cut, which is where they cut and then say we are standing on our. I mean, you saw extreme hawkish cut moves after the BOJ. Now, the BOJ is actually the cause of all these problems. They've been coming out trying to talk down the yen. And what's that led to is a bit of carry trade unwind. So the euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, that's where all the flow is coming from. So if we're looking here at the dollar yen, though, I mean, the big headline out is that the BOJ may reduce the bond buying, which is interesting given that the yields in Japan are attempting to break out of the ranges set, so they might also increase the range in which they're allowed to trade in, or just give a little bit more of that the rate hikes are coming quicker than expected. They're doing this to jawbone the market lower. I'm not sure how successful they're going to be. There was definitely a positioning issue here. The market's been building up for ages, so when you have that positioning problem, you can see that the market has a bit more room to move lower. Same with the Aussie yen. Aussie yen's huge positioning problems. All right. I mean, and that's the one that, and it can continue, right? It can continue. That's why I'm a little hesitant on how to play here today, on which pair we're gonna hit. I mean, if we go back in time about 30 minutes ago, the bounce is pretty predictable, and it's a second sell-off that you look for in the European session. That's really super solid. Maybe we can get away with buying a little bit of this now. Maybe. Just a little cheeky. Just a little cheeky. You got to watch it though, because it. Okay. One is. It's not a lot. Basically, I do little trades on most brokers before we trade with them. I've got like 15 accounts running right now, just because there's no universal agreed upon amount that this is going to be. So it could easily have been a full contract, which if you trade futures, you'll know this is pretty heavy. So in this sort of game, I'll be looking, about $5 a point or something like that. Not too heavy. And the target would be just another 50 points also. The Dow might be a little safer, but it has the US sort of shenanigans coming through a little later tonight. Nasdaq I've got a fair few screens up here. Nasdaq is looking pretty okay. All right, so this one here is a new broker. So a new challenge actually called Trading Pit, one of the better ones, backed by the guys behind Tickmill. So can't complain too much. Ooh, Aussie actually already taken out lows, but it is the one that has the bigger potential to fall with the Aussie yen. Pretty keen to play a little bit of this as well. This is Aussie Kiwi. There's a little bit of divergence coming through between those two, and this one's had a huge pullback. So, I mean, it's a little hard to play it on the way up, but this is a big pullback. I did a fair bit of buying on the Aussie Kiwi on the way up. Swift's going here. So you see the resemblance of many charts, right? And it's all to do with the fact that the algos and the machines create these correlations, and they pull the market one way or the other. And it's that selling is what we are trying to take advantage of here by looking at pairs that shouldn't really have moved too far with it. So, like the Dow and the DAX, they went down without too much. Once again, I've got no idea with these guys how big it's going to be. So when you play across multiple accounts, you can quickly get larger positioning than you may have wanted. Um, but sometimes it can help you trade bigger than you were expecting. Well, I mean, then you're comfortable with it. So say you trade, half a lot here, a lot there. If you open up 6, 7 different accounts, and you can quickly get up to your 3 or 4 lots. But if you trade in one account, the numbers can become too big from a psychological point of view. Yeah. And to people that will be like, "Oh, isn't that just madness talking?" It's like, yeah, well, wait until you've tried trading for a few years, and that's half of what we're trying to do here is control our madness. So we'll keep an eye on how the gold's going. I've got that on some other screens running right now. I'm just going to check that this stream is actually coming through. Yeah, it's working pretty well there. It's working well on YouTube. Although YouTube is not the issue. So I check here how it's going on. Yeah, the quality is pretty nice. Using Restream rather than some of the more easy to use OBS or what I mean is Restream Studio. So it's a browser. Hmm. So from the trading tonight, what you're going to be watching is the open that comes through in the US in approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes. And then you want to there's jolt starter that shouldn't move the market. Wouldn't hurt if it's weak though. You basically want to see how the open goes in the first few minutes because the market has pretty set, well, the first hour, but the market does like to take its lead in direction. It's a little more dangerous than general because you don't have a lot of news here, so they might start selling on rallies as well. And given that the market's in a bit of a punchy mood right now, you can probably see the selling continuing, especially on gold. I think gold is precarious because it had a rally yesterday, and you don't really want to test out how far it can go. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all the different headlines that come through. No one has any idea why. It's not crazy selling, just a little bit. But if you are watching, what you want to be watching is the dollar yen. Right? If dollar yen makes new lows, everything will roll over. Okay. Um, and given that we're relatively close to the ECB, then the euro buyers aren't going to be here to protect. Same as the Aussie. But you can find some pretty decent rebound trades. That's what we're looking at right now. All right. So when the market gets overdone, especially with little news, the rebound's a lot more predictable. We bring across euro. The Dow. There's a bit of push and pull here. So if I was going to sell, to be back towards probably 100 points higher, same as the DAX, maybe 50 to 100 points on the Dow and 50 points on the DAX. Okay, well, we're just testing out this new software. See how we go today later. I might come back on. We're going to be doing this regularly, guys. So if by chance you stumble across this, very rare chance, you'll be able to see, and we're going to be introducing what we're doing with the World Trading Championships as well. Basically, we're looking for good traders, and we're going to be building community around good traders, and allowing those who are learning to come and read only what good traders are doing. It's not education in the traditional sense, but it's a bit more osmosis, right? You'll be learning by watching. But yeah, this is TonyD. I'll be back at some point either today or tomorrow. And good luck with your trades. Be safe, be nimble. And if you are interested in learning by watching, then do come through and sign up at traderflow.com. You'll see a link to our Discord, and everything's free at the moment while we build our channels. All right, best